Well, the problem is that honestly, at this point in time, I'm on an allowance from my uncle who's a magistrate.
Kept thinking that they were going to reintroduce psionics in 5th edition at some point, and I think they're just not going to do it. I think it's never going to happen.
They did loosely. In Tasha's, there's a couple of them, because I
Yeah.
thought there was, like, the soul knife,
Yeah.
and then there's, something for
Yeah, there's a psionic warrior for the fighter. Yeah.
and there's, like, an astral monk, but it's really not
Yeah.
psionics.
But that's yeah, it is it doesn't it they hint at it, hint at like what psionics used to be,
Sure.
but yeah, it's not the same. It's nowhere near as interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't really complain. It's a big game. There's a lot going on, so I don't really mind that much. It happened to be one of the things I loved the most about 2nd and 3rd edition D&D were the psionics, because they were crazy and fun and very weird.
Still got,
When you can you can like turn your arms into tentacles and things like
Sure.
that. That's
Sure.
pretty fun stuff.
For reach or grappling purposes, or both.
Well, why not both?
Yeah.
Only
I guess you're right. Shoot for the moon with tentacle arms.
only for intimate purposes.
Gross.
Yeah, that's why I never played that.
Oh.
Too weird.
Right, 'cause you couldn't control
But
your urges.
if that's what you guys are into, no judgment.
Fancy.
I'm just, I'm looking at my level 1
Yeah, when are you gonna start
character
taping?
here. It just seems like a superhero to me, because I'm so
There-
used to DCC.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I kind of felt that too. Like my armor class is actually like 17 after armor, shield, and dex
Yeah,
modifier.
it's very good. No, first level characters are actually capable nowadays.
Basically invincible.
You can still kill them. Oh, is that so? Well, we'll find out.
Nothing can stop me.
Yeah,
No
when you say-
comeuppance.
I will tell you now that my character may be capable, but his player is not. So
My hubris will go unpunished.
Well, speaking of hubris and unpunished, we have one new player with one new character who knows nothing about what's happened so far. So can we get some introductions to Kathy of the players and their characters and whatever you want to tell her?
Oh, there were only 2 of us on last week. Like, most people haven't met my character. Yeah,
that's right. I forgot Garrett wasn't here either. We should have some level zeroing to do with Garrett even. But let's still call him. I'm just gonna start with you.
Oh,
so
lovely! My favorite. I love starting.
Yeah, you're starting.
Yes, so I'm playing a high elf wizard.
Oh, you would.
By the name of Frankwind Hatpin. And what can I tell you about this guy? He's a high elf. He's a snob who looks down on those who can't appreciate fine art.
That's good.
Much like myself.
Sure.
I believe that anything worth doing is worth doing right. I can't help it. I'm a perfectionist.
Sure.
So is my character. He is chaotic good, which I like. And he believes very much in freedom, and that everyone should be free to pursue his or her own livelihood, or their 5e.
Oh no, I didn't sign on to a woke game. Oh.
And let me see. His flaws are he'll do anything
for love
to get his hands on something rare or priceless, and I mean anything. So if you're gonna psionic up some tentacles there, Rob. And then under his bonds, he's got this thing where it says, "I created a great work for someone and then found them unworthy to receive it. I'm still looking for someone worthy." This thing that he managed to create allowed the user one time to transform the heart of a recently deceased creature, into a ruby, and the person he created it for wanted to do it to the heart of a king, and Frankwind found that very, very low level and disappointing. Why do that when you could transform the heart of a dragon? Think how much that ruby would be worth. So he's kept this thing in his robes pockets. I don't know what it is yet. Knowing us, it'll never transpire. So that is Frankwind hat pin. He is a guild artisan is his background. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
We talked a little bit about this last week, Colm. Did you want to tie your background to anywhere specific on this map? You want to be from Verbalbunk?
I do
That was
not
me.
care where he's from.
Okay,
Sorry,
it doesn't matter. You can decide.
I was premature paying. It's a thing.
Oh, got it. Okay,
I'm here to kick down doors and die.
very good.
And we're all out of doors.
All right, Rob, what do you got?
So I've got Jesker. He is a hill dwarf cleric. He was like the gods chose him at an early age to do their bidding. And now this isn't the kind of cleric that's out proselytizing or trying to convert people. The gods know who their followers are. They don't need their message spread by anyone. But they do from time to time demand that someone newborn enter the priesthood and be dispatched at their whim to do their bidding. And that is what I do. Let's see. I see omens in every event and action. The gods try to speak to us. We just need to listen. And often, like, the gods literally do give me signs of where I need to go. Like, say, Hommlet. The gods give what they want and they get what they want. I go in the directions they point me toward is my ideal. My flaw, is this really a flaw? I took it anyway. Once I pick a goal, I become obsessed with it to the detriment of everything else in my life. And then my bond is like, I actually, all else being equal, would much rather have been a dwarven craftsman and jeweler. And so I am like very much drawn to well-made masterwork jewelry and craftsmanship. And I actually have a set of jeweler's tools that I bought.
Ah,
Not that I'm a particularly talented jeweler, because I never actually got trained in that because of my calling.
may help with appraisals of jewels.
That might.
Never know.
So that's it for me.
I just want to make you aware that you can carry a warhammer. You're proficient with a warhammer or a war axe.
I did. How am I? I thought when I was reading.
Dwarven.
Oh, Dwarven can do that. Okay, because I was
That's
like,
why.
cleric. Okay, great. I'm going to switch from mace to warhammer because that makes a lot more sense
It's
for
a
me.
D8. Yeah. You only have one attack. You're gonna need all the damage you can get.
Mhm, mhm. Thank you. I didn't catch that in the dwarf description.
Yeah. It's early on, and some of that stuff can get glossed over.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got
Cool.
a dwarf
Yeah.
cleric as well, and
That's
it
good. I
does
was
help.
bummed that I had to go with mace instead of hammer, so I'm glad to go
Yeah.
with warhammer.
That's kind of the joys of being a dwarf cleric. You actually get a weapon that's useful.
Yay.
Yeah.
And I think we decided that you are actually from
Oh, right.
from the western part of this map, maybe even near more or less that village of Sabanwich.
Yeah, I was in the hills to the west of whatever that town was to the west.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's just like dwarven settlements scattered around there in the
That's right.
foothills and mountains. That is all.
Okay. So who do we want to have go next, Garrett or Kathy?
Oh, it's up to you, Kathy. You want to roll for it?
No, I'm going to insist that you do it. You go next. Wait,
Well,
sorry. I'm a mess. Mostly because I'm losing my voice for some reason. So go ahead.
So I have Jorgen Glibbelminth. He is a fighter, human fighter from Verbalbunk, and he's been traveling around with his brother trying to make local maps to try and get the Glybe name out there so people don't buy globes, they buy glibes and other Glybe map association and accessories. So that's important, but he's out on his own. He said, screw you, brother, you're going to run the shop. I'm going to go off and do my thing. And so he's been helping just caravans go backwards and forwards between Verbalbunk and wherever. And he's in Hommlet to have some fun. And he likes to drink. And that's kind of there. What? I like nature. He's got a wanderlust. And his family is the most important thing in his life.
Aw.
Just
Very
why he
nice.
put up with his brother for so long.
Terribly sweet.
So
Mhm.
Verbalbunk is definitely the biggest city around. That there's like a duke that's there. He kind of lords over the place, and it's a little sketchy, but like his domain technically extends throughout everything that can be seen on this map. But starting around the Hommlet area, people are they'll pay lip service to Verbalbunk's kingdom and rulership, but otherwise they like being left alone. Hommlet does sit at a crossroads. There are towns further to the south along the small river there, the Brandiv Run, and there are more towns to the east. Nulb would be the closest one, which is not pictured on the map as you can see just now. There aren't great ways to the west of the mountains. Mostly when people want to go west, they're in Vermabonk and they take river travel, and that'll head towards the coast. I mention all this because there's every reason you could be in Hommlet, just because, like I said, that's something of a crossroads for land trade routes near Vermabonk. Like, that's kind of where trade is going to gather before heading up to Vermabonk, and it's also where trade would get dispersed for stuff coming from Vermabonk, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So, Gary, I don't know how much excuse you want there. I'm always looking for ways to like link the characters up without having to just meet at a bar. So that could be your reason to be there if you want, or we can come up with another reason.
I'm just kind of wandering around and honestly just looking for any type of opportunity. So I'm just doing fresh-faced young human.
If I
Okay.
had met him previously, like I was like I definitely had omens and signs and rolling the bones and things like that. I was making a beeline for Hamlet. So if we were hanging out and he was looking for a direction, that's the direction I was going in.
So for you, your character, Rob, your clan or whatever, like the religion you're a part of, are on really good terms with the Church of St. Cuthbert in Hommlet. And the
That
worship
makes
of St.
sense.
Cuthbert is the largest worship in this part of the world. There are a lot of other faiths. Like, I would say the second most popular faith is just called the old faith, which is essentially like druidic nature worship. People, farmers are often like, yeah, the old faith, that's good stuff. And Hommlet has representatives of both. But the key thing here is that about 2 months ago, her name is Canoness Ide, and she said that she was heading off to investigate something, but, would be back. And she hasn't been back. And so someone just kind of elected himself to become the new canon of the Church of St. Cuthbert in Hommlet.
Mhm.
And the locals of Hommlet are like, well, Canoness Ide was very beloved. This guy nobody likes. And they're also kind of suspicious of him. And your superiors suddenly aren't getting, like, the communication has essentially been cut off.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so I think one motivating factor to get you into Hommlet could be like you want to find out what might have happened to Canoness Ide. And also, and barring that, at least, can you at least negotiate back into the good graces of the Church of St. Cuthbert? Because,
Sure.
this was good stuff.
That sounds good.
Does that seem reasonable?
Yeah.
And there's no reason you can't have met Garrett's character somehow or other.
Sure.
Possibly in Hommlet at the inn, which we can
We
talk
could
about
meet
in a
on the
bit.
crossroads where the bridge comes into the town.
Well, and if nothing else, like people, if they had the option, wouldn't travel alone. I assume from town to town, they'd like meet up with others headed in the same direction.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
I've got a glaive and like hand axes, warhammer, and a shield, and so I look like I can handle myself. Look like I can.
Even a first level fighter is going to look incredibly intimidating to almost everybody. So yeah. Colm, how might we get you into Hommlet?
Frankwind is going to be very interested in this Church of St. Cuthbert because churches are good spots for things of value, whether they be of monetary value or mystical value. Is he also aware of this missing canoness?
He certainly can be.
Yes. He would certainly, if he had caught wind of that, would see this as an opportunity to worm his way into the religious orders there and maybe see if there's anything that he could perhaps pocket or find useful for his experiments.
So here's another motivating factor for you potentially, which might be better. I'm going to throw this at you and you can decide. There are some retired adventurers who have taken up residence in Hommlet. One's a wizard and the other is a fighter. They're joined at the hip and they're creating a fortress, a citadel there. And they have purportedly heaps of treasure to pay for all this, and also they also want a place to store it and also a place to study it. Like the wizard in particular is very interested in studying all the things that he's gathered over his years of adventuring. So there's
Okay.
that. You can try to insulate yourself with them. And one thing that they're one thing they're doing here, the fighter of this pair is trying to get the village to form up a militia because there have been some increases in raids that are coming from the east, which is new. These people had cleared out like the kobolds and the goblins that were kind of nearby. There are elves in the forest, and so like it was seen as relatively peaceful. But raids have suddenly started. Like there are these bandits, and no one's been able to identify them. And a few of the residents have gone missing and not seen again. Not just Canonicy Day, like just like a couple of farmers here and there have literally just gone missing and never seen again.
Mhm.
And so they're thinking that maybe someone could figure out what's happened. Like, can anybody figure out what's happened? And there might be a reward involved.
No, I'm not interested in that. No, yes, I'll do that.
Okay.
Yes, he would be up for that. Sure. That
Okay.
sounds good.
So we've got 3 of you, and now let's move on to Kathy's character. Take it away, Kathy.
What? Oh. All right, so it's like my name is Poppy, or at least you guys can call me Poppy. It's only once you get to know me that you get to learn what my given name was. I am a tiefling paladin. And I'm chaotic good. I'm trying very much to work against my tiefling nature. So that's why I sort of went this spiritual path of being a paladin. But the thing is I like to kick ass. So that's why I looked towards that particular field or that set, that group. Those are my people. Basically, I'm 6 feet tall, but I'm only like 16 years old. But I can fool people a lot. They think I'm older all the time because I'm 6 feet tall. I like to lie a lot. I like to pretend. Lie, yes. Tell stories. Pretend things. Like, for example, like I'm nobility. But nobody really knows. Only me. I am convinced, and this would be a flaw, I suppose, but I mean, I'm 16, so what do I know? I'm convinced that no one can fool me like I can fool them. And most of the time, I might actually be right about that, but not always. Oh, my bonds are, and this is something that could come out as time goes on. I owe everything to my mentor, Robert C. Walker. May he rot in jail or hell or one of those places. I don't know. May he rot. I'm mostly here because, well, for one thing, I kind of have to make a living, and most of my living is kind of depends on the suckers that are around. Because,
Like Charms Blow Pops?
I do. No.
Oh.
Because I like to con people a lot and somehow get money out of them, but I'm trying to figure out in my very teenage way how to make something of myself, how to become something big. So I go to what I see as like the bigger cities. Whether or not I actually know what a city is, that's another matter entirely. And I am really sorry, you guys, because I've just had so much going on, and I haven't been able to think about things.
Well, it's okay.
I'm also 16.
Liar.
Yeah, you wouldn't know. You don't know me.
Exactly.
That's right. Let's see. And then one thing that you might find out about me that a lot of people don't know is that despite sort of this kind of superficial weirdness and being kind of typically 16 and all that sort of stuff, I really have a thing for insects. I really like them. I think they're cool. And so I follow a particular goddess, privately, Braum, and I carry her holy symbol with me. And that's really, I don't really know what else to say about that. I mean, I have, I don't think I need to go into all of my particular abilities and stuff. Those will come out.
Nope.
I have elk horns. They're very pretty because of course. And let's see. And while I'm trying to escape my sort of demonic reputation because of my bloodline and stuff, it's considered infernal after all. I got a tattoo. It's probably one of the reasons why my parents kicked me out. But I got a tattoo, and it looks like a birthmark on, it's kind of just above my lip, but it's a heart. But it's hard to see, but it's a heart when you get close enough.
Was it gonna say mom?
No, I don't talk to her anymore.
Not,
Anyway, and I'm blue. I'm bluish. I'm kind of a lime wash blue. So it's mottled. It's not solid color, and my eyes are copper, as are my horns are copper too. And they're horns. They're not antlers. They don't fall off.
but they look like moose antlers.
Elk.
I'm sorry, elk.
So
Okay,
they're not. They're
got it.
not.
Yep. Yep, I
Yeah,
got
they're
it.
not flat and wide, but they're
Yep.
they're very
Tall and
big.
spiky.
Yes, that's about all I have to say right now, I think.
Right. Kathy, Poppy, has there been anything that we've mentioned that might get you into the Hommlet environments that might interest your character, or shall we come up with something else?
Well, except for the idea of, since I'm on my own, I'm trying to find my way and just going into places that potentially I can either make money or get in with people who, because I'm alone. So, I'm trying to find people who I can learn from. But did you have some ideas?
I've been trying to ponder here. I haven't thought of anything specific. We could make this easy. You could literally just have met up with
Jorgen.
Jorgen is the
That's the fighter. Yep.
is the fighter. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You could have just met up with them. You could be, for example, from Burbabonk and maybe have an interest in mapping, and you're like, oh, and then you met the brother, and the brother's like, hey, I'm off doing this my own thing. You're like, yeah, this sounds good. Why not? You could have an interest in, because you want to prove yourself to people.
Mm-hmm.
You could have caught, if you're from anywhere around this area, anywhere from anywhere near Hommlet, as far as Burbabonk to the north, you could have heard about the raids that have seemed to have come up out of nowhere. Wait, doesn't your character know something about history? Am I wrong about that?
No.
Oh,
You could
okay.
have just misheard the village name and really like eggs and thought you were going to the village of Hommlet.
Go to the village
Look,
of
I'm
Hommlet.
not stupid.
Island Age.
I'm actually not stupid, but
So there's that. You could have gotten, maybe you felt a little something about the missing Canonus. It's not your religion, but you're like, that just isn't right.
Mystery and reward, yeah.
And then there's as far as improving yourself, there's that fighter I mentioned in Hommlet. He's trying to create a militia, and maybe you could be like, I could train these grunts. I know stuff like that. Those are all things that come to mind.
Mm-hmm.
What do we think? Anything? None of it?
Let's see. I sort of have an interest in trying to learn more from other people, so I suppose meeting up with Jorgen or hearing about Jorgen or something,
Would you want to have come from Verbalbonk?
Sure.
It's a big city that it'd be easier for you to pull off your shenanigans there. That's for sure.
Yes, I think that I'm pretty sure that I continue to look for more populated areas because that's the only way I can get things.
And I've got a glaive, so I don't know if you've seen pole arms or something like that before. So I'm gonna talk about it. But yeah.
Yeah,
You
that's
could-
kind
you
of
could throw hand axes at trees if you wanted.
It's definitely like a guy. I will. Yeah, I could do it because as long as I can show you how to throw javelins if you want,
That'd be cool. I don't have any javelins.
or how to use a trident.
What? You got a trident?
I got a trident.
No way. Yeah, we can just talk about weapons and armor and junk forever.
That would be cool.
Okay, I'm down.
I'd really like that. I think.
Yep.
All right. So Poppy and Jorgen met up somehow in Verpabonk, possibly at the mapping store or whatever. Hit it off, and you're heading to Hommlet for it. Really, just literally adventure.
Yep.
Okay, you'll get there.
We do have Jenny's Alaric, the thief.
I was going to ask, do we want to introduce Alaric, or do we want to wait for her and just fit her into the next session?
Based on the character, it's a dragonborn thief, or I'm sorry, rogue criminal. So, whatever you want to do with that, but I just wanted to mention that Jenny's character is a rogue.
Yeah, there's an entirely different hook for her that we could use.
Cool. Yeah. So if you want me to roll anything, I got the character sheet. Just let me know what you need.
Are there personality notes, or are you just leaving that for Jenny entirely?
I think we should leave that stuff for Jenny.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
You're
I'm
just a mysterious NPC for now.
I left all that blank for her.
Yeah, all I'm getting at is I just wonder if maybe you actually communicated with her and she gave you some ideas or something. I'm just trying to figure out how much input she's had.
No, I rolled her up the basic character, but I didn't I didn't fill in any of the personality traits or anything
Got it.
like that.
Okay.
Or the
Okay. So she actually
alignments,
doesn't even
nothing
know what
like
she's
that.
got just
Nope.
yet.
And a crossbow, always helpful.
Oh,
Multiple daggers and a
So
short bow. Yeah, good stuff.
what we'll say is that she's in Hommlet, and we'll
That should be enough.
talk to her. We'll talk to her about it later.
Sure.
And maybe she just won't. Maybe her character just won't participate today, which would be fine. It's not gonna be the worst thing. Okay. So when we go to Hommlet, there's one obvious place that everybody stays at. It's the one establishment in town. It is kind of regionally well known. It's well known enough that people who've traveled outside of Verberbonk have heard of it because the food is really good. Ostler Gundagut is known for he and his wife, good wife Gundagut, are both known for their cooking. It's so it's like regionally famous. Like certainly you dwarves would have heard of it to the west, and people come from the east as well. Occasionally, like from Nulb, if they're traveling at all, they make sure to stop at Hommlet at the Inn of the Welcome Wench. So it's likely that's where everybody is staying.
Mhm.
And with that, you're in town, and let me just take a pause and see if any of you talk to each other or meet up. Like Poppy and Jorgen could certainly be doing something. You're all going to attract attention. Poppy in particular. Tieflings are incredibly rare, and so you definitely attract a lot of attention. So when you show up to the inn with Jorgen, you get the eyes. Jorgen may have his pole arms, which you probably have to stand up outside or take in and put to the wall or something like that. But like this is a hopping place. You can smell the good food, but it quiets down significantly when you work your way in because you gotta kind of turn your head a little bit to get your antlers, horns through the door, and everybody's like, oh. Now, so this is not nearly as cosmopolitan as Verberbonk, where there are at least some tieflings. People know tieflings. I think you are probably the first any of these people have ever seen.
Oh my God, they're staring.
They are
I
staring.
know.
They're staring.
They must know me. They must know me. But it's okay. Let's just go get some drinks. So
Okay,
Jorgen's
that's
just
fine.
gonna, work his way up to the bar and kind of just like still talking about weapons and stuff, like
Mhm.
trying to keep everybody else outside of our bubble and just kind of like scanning the room and seeing what people are doing and kind of taking this time of Poppy being the center of attention to just kind of take a beat of what's going on with the room, but more than willing to pay for a pitcher with some glasses and see what we can find.
Okay. Ostler, he's like, oh, well, you two aren't from around here. Where are you from? And what can I get you to drink? Good sir, your name, please.
Oh, I'm Jorgen Glibblesmith.
Jorgen.
Glibblemith. You may have heard of my family's maps. My brother's quite the map maker. However, I'm in town, just adventuring out in the world, and we're looking. Me and my friend here, we're looking for some drink and maybe some food and possibly a place to stay. We're just in town.
Adventuring. Say, adventuring. Oh well, have you heard about the great battles with the Temple of Elemental Evil from years ago? This town featured prominently in that. Have you heard those stories? You gotta get them.
What?
Oh yeah.
Elemental evil.
Oh, big deal. Very proud of our heritage. You should talk to Rufus and Byrne about that stuff when they come in. Hit them up. They'll give you some good stories.
Who is this?
Or-
Rufus and Vern?
Oh, yeah, they're building. They're building the big keep you must have seen over there to the east, in the eastern part of town.
What are these guys? Are they lumberjacks or what do they do? Just building buildings? Nice. This is sexy.
So this is the
A
inn.
nice map.
I'm pinging the inn here.
Satisfying.
Oh yes, okay.
So it's big,
That's
and then you can see. You probably have seen it. So over here, this is the only finished part right now. This keep. They're building up a wall. There's a bunch of workers' camps up here on the north side of the road, and other buildings here. So you would have come into town from the north, from up here,
Okay.
cross the bridge, come into town,
Mhm.
past several buildings. You can, this is the church up here to the north, so on and so
Okay.
forth. And then a bunch of residences and small businesses, like if you need carpenter or, a weaver or something like that, we could find them for you.
Okay.
But you're all going to pretty much end up here at the inn.
Hmm. Well, Innkeep, do you by any chance have a room with a view of the water of the river?
Yes, we do.
Something befitting my status.
Of your status. Oh,
My
who?
status.
Your name, madam.
I'm Lady Popium.
Lady Popium. Oh, no nobility is it?
Well, I don't usually like to, broadcast that.
Oh, well, we can be very discreet here. We get all kinds
Thank
coming
you.
through Hommlet. All kinds. We can be
Thank
discreet.
you.
Absolutely. We do have a room up there. Is your companion your squire or a companion? Just a companion?
Squire? What do I look like, a squire? No, we met on the road, dude.
Oh,
But I intend to hire him at some point, possibly.
Well, I guess I might be her bodyguard then.
I could
Right.
always use a bodyguard, so yes. He and I needed a place to discuss also what sort of a position he could fill with me.
Oh. I mean, yes. I mean, if you require a nice room, it's well, I'm sure you can afford it. It's 5 silver a night. Is that okay?
Hmm. Well, the problem is that honestly, at this point in time, I'm on an allowance from my uncle, who's a magistrate, and I'm waiting for my most recent installment. Is there any way we could get that room, and I pay you once I get that particular allowance in?
Oh, lady, I hate it, but
Surely. For me?
right. Why don't you try and convince him? So you've got some skills for this. How about try rolling your persuasion check? So D20, add the bonus next to your persuasion skill, and tell me what you get.
Doop, doop, doop. Oops, ow.
We are rolling dice tonight. Who knew?
Who
Nice.
knew?
First
Yay.
roll of the
Happening.
campaign. Do it.
Oh,
Don't suck.
no. 19.
19.
Start.
Wow. He's like, how soon do you think your allowance would come through?
Sometime in the next fortnight. Sometime.
Oh, that should be just fine. That should
Oh,
be
good.
just fine.
Oh,
Yes.
good.
Yes, and it's for
Marvelous.
both of you. Yes, in the same room because you gotta
Yes,
keep your
yes, it's for
party.
both
Yes.
of us.
Of course, of course.
Yes.
In the meantime, please take a seat.
Thank you. Thank you.
I already know what Poppy's passive perception is. What is yours, Jorgen?
15, 1-5.
15. Oh.
Yes.
Off in a corner, you happen to see a couple of men. They're not the cleanest, but they're also not filthy. But it looks like they're worn and they have been on the road or something like that. Their
Humans?
clothes are not in the best of condition, but they're trying to kind of sneak looks at the two of you, and they seem incredibly interested in following what you're going, and they are definitely studying. Both of you have pretty nice gear. It's clearly probably in better shape than any gear they might have, and they're noticing. They look, they see.
Okay, so knowing that, then I'll kind of guide us kind of the opposite side of the room and just keep an eye on them.
Okay, fair enough.
Where are we going?
Well, I got these drinks. Let's sit down and talk about how we could use a whip. I've never used one before. Have you used a whip?
There's
I
a
could-
young woman who comes by your table, and she plops down a couple of drinks and says that dinner will be served within the hour.
I'm hungry. I heard this place has got great food. So let's just see what
I
they
heard
got.
the same thing.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah, you won't be disappointed, I promise.
Yes. Yes.
Let's put a pin in that, and let's just. I'm gonna randomly pick. Well, Colin, we started with you, so we'll just start with you again.
Okay.
Come on in town.
He would also head to the inn because that would seem to be the obvious place in order to pick up some trade and some tips.
Okay. Can I ask how you're dressed?
Well, as you can see from my picture, he is splendidly attired.
Oh, I see.
His name is Franquin the Hatpin, for God's sake. He is he takes meticulous care in his appearance and presentation. He has a well waxed mustache, which curls upwards, pointing up
Mhm.
to the elf goddess of the moon that he worships. He is in splendid garments, splendid with a shimmering sky blue cape, and he also wears a tall sky blue hat, which matches.
Okay. Very nice. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's clearly not from here.
Right. Let's assume you arrive on the same day for the same time. Happy coincidence. And one of the first things you notice is, I mean, you're relatively cultured, so you've seen tieflings before, but this is an outlandish creature in this environment, and so you do notice,
Mhm.
like, oh, look at that, and looks like a pretty tough character sitting next to the tiefling. So you come in, you are greeted. Says, welcome, good sir. I'm the ostler here, Gundagoot. Can I get you something to drink? A room to stay, perhaps?
What kind of rooms do you have?
What do you require? We have a couple of large rooms left over and a couple of small rooms left over.
And I assume the bedding is simply straw mats.
No, 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 no. These are mattresses.
Ooh, mattresses.
Yes, we got them from Verbal Bunk.
Can I perhaps get a room with a river view?
I'm afraid the last of those rooms was just taken before you got here, and he inclines his head towards the tiefling and her compatriot.
Interesting. Very well then. I will take the best room you have available.
Fair enough. That'll be 3 silver per night,
Yes,
and that will include board.
he can pay that.
Okay.
Can you tell me a little about the horned woman? That rather rough character?
Not much, other than that they arrive together. She appears to be a noblewoman of some type, a minor noblewoman, if I have it right. So
Minor noblewoman. His
I believe
interest,
so.
yes, Frankwin's interest is piqued at that. And as soon as he hears the words minor noblewoman, he immediately just walks away from the bar and walks
Okay.
over to this table that these two are sitting at.
Okay, take it away.
He bows graciously.
Good day.
Madam, good day indeed. May I introduce myself? Frankwin Hatpin, guild artisan of the Guild of Alchemists and Apothecarists at Bonk, whatever the hell it's called. Bonka bonk.
Bonk.
Bonka
I know the
bonk.
names are great. Verbobonk.
Oh my.
Would it be impertinent for me to ask to join you?
And I'm going to look over at Jorgen and see if he has a response to that.
And he mutters under his breath that I fear there is a better class of client at this table.
I guess it's okay. You look kind of cool. Yeah, sit down.
He looks very cool in his sky
yeah.
cape.
Please have a seat, sir.
Frankwin, you notice that they have drinks in front of them and you do not.
Well, Frankwin doesn't drink.
Hmm.
So he brushes
Fine.
he looks at the bench beside Poppy and brushes it. He takes out a little kerchief and brushes it away and then lifts his hat off his head, sits down and places his hat beside him.
It is a little dusty in here, isn't it?
I will
Just
say
a
that
tad.
even Poppy can tell. She can just feel the other people's eyes. They can't help themselves. There are these 3 incredibly curious characters, ostentatiously dressed, and appearance as well. So, for example, Jorgen, I said that there were a couple people that were looking surreptitiously at you. Now it's like everybody's just kind of occasionally just openly like looking. And it's not
Nice.
none of it's hostile, but the curiosity is so piqued amongst these people.
And 2 dudes from before are
Their curiosity is of a different type. It looks a little craftier. Their eyes are a little bit more lidded.
sure, but still attentive.
Oh yeah, yeah. But now they're not trying to be so quiet about it because they've noticed that everybody's looking at all of you. Like this doesn't happen. So yeah. Is there any more discussion these 3 characters would like to have amongst themselves?
No, Frankwin will signal roughly to the barkeep and ask for a plate of finely washed raw vegetables to be served to him and a glass of spring water.
So you signal a young woman comes over, same young woman that was there earlier. She says, yes, you just need water and did you say just raw vegetables?
Yes.
Would you like your meal served soon or with everybody else's meal?
With everyone else's would be acceptable. but
Okay.
I would like the water now.
Of course. I shall bring it shortly. And she hustles off, and she brings you a mug of water. Whether it's
Mhm.
spring water or not, maybe only you can tell, but it's potable. It's fine.
Okay.
So what brings
Yeah.
you to town, sir?
I have heard that the Church of St. Cuthbert may be in need of some assistance, and I feel a man of my talent could be put to some use.
Hmm. What would those talents be?
Why, madam, I am a wizard,
A wizard.
one of the finest in the land.
Well, that's terribly impressive.
That's why you wear the hat.
Calm, what is your
And,
passive perception?
and the cape. My passive perception is 11.
Okay. Thank you.
That's 10 plus wisdom modifier, if I have that right, for future reference, right? Okay, cool.
Correct. Yep.
Also, if you have proficiency in perception, that would make it go higher.
Yes, it
I
must be
don't.
because my wisdom modifier is -1
Sure,
because
but
he only has a wisdom of 9.
you are proficient in perception and being a high
Yes.
elf, so your passive
Yes.
perception should be
Plus
plus. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, plus your proficiency modifier. Yes.
Which
So
is
it brings me, yes, it brings them up. Yep.
So 13.
2. Okay.
You,
That's
you
good
know
to know.
so much.
Get out of this game.
Yeah. Such a,
We don't like your kind around here.
Sorry.
no, I think it's great.
I
Yeah,
like
it's
every
great.
advantage we can get.
Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
Oh, you're gonna need it because I cheat.
Exactly. I trust no one. No DM.
Right. Fair enough.
So would Franquin notice anything about these two individuals in the other corner who are eyeing the table?
No, not particularly. No.
Oh, okay.
No more than anybody else.
No,
haven't
that
paid
would make
attention of
sense
it.
because he's not a wise man. He's very intelligent, but not wise. He's just arrogant.
No, so far only Jorgen has really noticed.
Mhm.
Let's get Rob finally involved here. Sorry to make you wait, Rob. Thank
Oh,
you for your
that's okay.
patience. All right. You've come from a different direction. You're the only one that has not come from Burbabonk.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I've come from the west, and clearly, I mean, I would have known enough about town to know that, well, the inn is a place to stay, but kind of where places and people converge. So, yeah, I would start at the inn as well. And I do a quick casting of runes, and the message they give me is, where all eyes meet, there are your companions.
hey. All right. So you're a dwarf, and actually, you don't draw any particular attention. The dwarves are relatively commonly seen around here, and again, because of the very kind relationship that your church and the Church of Saint Cuthbert have, you also are aware of a druid. So you knew you at least, if you hadn't met Canoness Ide personally, you at least knew of her by name,
Sure.
and you could probably recognize her. You also know by name, and you can decide whether or not you've met him or not, Jeru, who is the druid that resides down here in the Druid Grove, which is the other faith really represented here in Hommlet directly. It doesn't mean that you're like, oh, you guys are all buddy, but maybe you've met him, possibly. Both
Interfaith picnic.
Yeah. Both Canoness Ide and Jeru they're higher level than you. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
So they're higher station as well, and they're very well respected in town, and your superiors respected them as well. So you all got along well. So I don't know if you wanted to go to the church ahead of time and try and talk with the new canon, who you haven't yet met. His name is Turjon, or you can try and meet Jeru, or you can go straight to the inn and whatever you like.
Yeah, no, Jessica's plan is to start at the inn, get the lie of the land in town, maybe even get some information about this new canon before meeting him.
Okay.
So Jessica will walk into the inn, cast his eyes about, follow the attention of everyone that converges on this foppish elf, this tiefling, and this dude armed to the teeth.
Yep.
And realize that, yes, this is where all eyes meet in this room. Jessica kind of grunts bemusedly. Huh.
Rob, is there like a title or anything for like people of your religion? Just kind of
No.
curious.
So,
No? Okay.
I mean, words like church and priest and things like that are pretty strong words. There are some like war priests, who are important in battle. Mostly ritual stuff is done by the elders. I don't really do much for my fellow dwarves. I get sent out to do things on behalf of the gods. So no, I mean they would just recognize me as a dwarf. Apart from I'm dressed like very utilitarian, neatly, well kept, arguably even well pruned. But the only thing that looks at all fancy is a pendant, hammer pendant on a necklace that's not particularly valuable looking, but well wrought, well forged.
So I was going to ask if you have like some obvious trappings of being a cleric.
Yeah.
So
That-
that
that, you know,
necklace would be the thing that people
Okay.
who knew about dwarvish religion, they would recognize that as a sign that I was.
Well, the reason I mention that is
Yeah.
I ask is because Ostler Gundagut is going to be familiar with
Sure.
your dwarven, and so like I'm just wondering how easily you make yourself recognizable.
Oh
in
yeah,
that
no, then
respect.
that pendant would be the one thing that would be the giveaway. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, Gundagut hails you. Oh, good sir. We haven't. I don't. I have to admit I'm not very good about recognizing faces, but certainly you and your brethren and sisters are welcome here at any time. Please make yourself welcome, and I will get you.
Whatever you're serving, the most folk. I'm not particular about what I eat, but I am hungry. I will say that.
Oh, the meal will be coming. If all you need is the meal and the drinks tonight, that'll be a silver. And of course, if you need a room, please stay.
A place
Unless you
to
have lodgings
stay.
elsewhere. Do you have lodgings maybe elsewhere? Are you
I do not.
taking? Okay. Well, of
Humble
course you're welcome
common
to
room
stay
will
here.
be fine for me.
Well, if you're gonna stay in the common room, that would be merely 3 copper.
Mhm. I pay up. You're busy now, but briefly, I've heard that the canoness has disappeared. Know you of anything?
Oh, I know. Only that she's been gone low these last almost 3 months now, and very mysterious. She told us she would be back within a 10-day, and it's been many 10 days, and it's very worrisome. And then this Turjon came down from Vermabonk and said that he is here to be the new canon in place of Canoness Day.
He says you are skeptical.
Well, I mean, should I be distrustful? He knows the rights. He clearly has power, and he seemed to be known. Kelmer, he knew Turjon, so it's this seems to be all on the up and up. But they're obviously worried about the absence. I mean, Turjon seems less worried. In fact, he seems quite pleased with his new position and has increased the tithe demands, which I must admit has not made him friends here in town.
And I ask you that odd trio over there, pointing toward those three. Local youth, are they? This constitutes
no.
a joke for Jesker.
No new arrivals as yourself. They seem to have just welcomed in the curiously berobed elf. So, if you're looking for company, mayhap that table will be the table for you.
I not so much looking for company as I appear to be fated for it. I'll take my food at their table, if you will.
As you wish. Drinks will be coming. And you go to the table, and
I'll pull up a chair without asking. I am Jesker of the Red Granite Hills.
Well, hello, sir. That is very bold of you to sit here.
I am meant to.
You're meant to.
Is that the northern Granite Hills or southern Granite Hills? Because the southern Granite Hills tends to slope a little gently
The
southeasterly.
red
as
Granite Hills.
Oh, oh man. Oh, geez, that's why my brother makes the maps. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. I was trying to sound cool.
It's okay. You're very cool. Just, shh.
Okay. What I mean, hey, dwarf dude, looking good. Looking good. Welcome to the table.
I make all necessary pleasantries to you. I appear to be fated to meet you here. I am Jesker. Might I inquire as to who you are?
Lady Popium.
Jesker nods.
Jorgen, Glibbles, but they call me Sloppy Joe. So, yeah.
Wizard, Hatpin.
Jesker nods in turn at each introduction.
Welcome to our table.
You may call me Jesker Red Granite if you seek a second name. I am here to look for a missing canoness of this village. What brings you all here?
I don't know that you need to know that.
Jesker's not.
But I am always interested in the goings on of any particular place to which I travel.
And you, good elf wizard?
My business is my own, sir.
Mm-hmm. Are you wearing any obvious, finely wrought jewelry?
To
The
whom do
boss
you
that
speak?
you are.
Um,
Please
No,
tell
sorry,
me you're asking
Rob
me
is
first.
sorry. Rob is asking.
No, please tell me
Not
you're asking me
there.
first.
Yeah. Are you wearing any finely wrought jewelry, sir? No. I'm. Yeah.
there,
Like,
there's a
would I
there,
see anything?
there's a nice gem in the center of my hat.
That is a fine cut on your gem. I respect
That's
that.
sapphire.
Oh, a fine cut of sapphire on your hat.
You like the cut of my gem?
I do.
Are you so interested in jewelry?
You will find that is common among the hill dwarves.
Hmm. I see.
And what brings you down from your hill, dwarf?
A canoness of St. Cuthbert has disappeared, apparently, and the gods, Moradin, have a good relationship with them. So I am here to look for her. I would not say no to such stalwart companions as you if you have found no other source of adventure. I will be making inquiries around the town tomorrow once I am settled in. Perhaps we could all share a common room together if you haven't already found. I understand that lice are few and far between here, and fleas as well. Unless you are fond of insects, of course.
Well, I definitely find them interesting. Obviously, I kind of, show you my little pendant of a wasp.
I was going to ask how prominently you display your own symbol there.
I don't think it's right out in the open, but it's caught in the folds of what I'm wearing, essentially. So, but it doesn't mean you can see that I've got something on, like that.
But this isn't any
It-
kind of, obviously evil deity symbol or anything, right? Your insect thing?
Not,
Or is it?
no,
Okay.
it's not.
Yeah.
It's not,
Cool.
no. So, but I mean, I look a little evil, so it might seem a little strange.
Jesker, don't judge.
Well, that's kind of you. My room is very large, and I do have my brave guard here with me, so I would feel safe if we shared a room.
Oh, I was just going to have one of the straw mats on the floor or whatever constitutes a common room here.
There, 4 such pallets would be made available for that. Assuming you inquired or whatever. Yeah, so there would be 4
Oh,
such common room pallets
Yeah,
available.
but these highbrow types, I gather, have already gotten the best rooms in the house.
I haven't left the comforts of our guild hall just to sleep on a mat.
You might as well join us.
That seems reasonable. I thank you.
I shall join you for breakfast, but I will not sleep on a mat.
You don't have to sleep on a mat, sir. Why don't we
I have
see what the
already paid-
accommodations
I
are
have
like
paid
in my...
I've already paid good silver for my room.
Okay.
Yeah, I've paid
If you
good
do not
copper, but
wish
I'll
to-
happily crash.
Does this mean that you no longer need your room with the river view?
Oh no, I will keep my room with the river view. But it's large. It's supposed to be the largest room in the place.
I submit this to you. Some of you say you seek adventure, and I am here for a task. If any of you would be willing to help me with my task, I would be willing to help you with what adventure you seek. Does this seem reasonable?
Well, I guess so.
Jesker's a kind of to the point kind of guy.
Right. Sure, why not? I mean, yes, of course. That could be very interesting. What do you think,
I'm
Jorgen?
not here for adventure. I am
Man.
here to provide aid to the people of Hommlet.
A tiefling, a high elf, and a dwarf want me to hang out with them? Yeah, dude, I am down.
Good. That's good. I'm glad.
I can flex my muscles. He's gonna flex his muscles.
That doesn't go past my notice.
And Franquin Hatpin, I dare say finding this canoness would be a help to the local people.
Perhaps. I also hear talk of a militia being assembled.
Why don't we do all of it?
Do all of it?
Yes.
Says Franquin, nibbling on a radish.
I've been looking for adventure for
It's
quite a
5 months
while.
past radish season.
I am a wizard, sir.
No gong farmers here. Okay. Which of you has the highest passive perception? I heard 15.
I've got I only got 14.
Yours is 14. Okay. The 15, which was Jorgen, right?
Correct.
One of the 2 people at the table like not too long after Jesker sat down, got up with a purpose and left the building.
Mm-mm.
Okay, it's fine. Cool, got it. Gonna keep it to myself. I'm just gonna be aware of what the other dude's doing and see if I can see the other dude come back in. But it's just gonna be like on my radar. But
Okay.
I'm still thinking I'm the baddest thing in the room, so
Sure.
not too big.
So
What's
if
wrong? What's wrong?
What do you mean?
Well, you're just, I mean, you're not really paying attention to me.
Looking at people. All right, so you gotta understand. I was my brother's babysitter for the last 10 years. Dad
Mm-hmm.
taught me young how to protect him, taught me how to
Mm-hmm.
use the glaive, and that's what I was supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
He would fall off a cliff while writing a map if he could. In fact, he's tried it 3 or 4 times, and I've had to save him every last time. So I apologize if my eyes might glaze over and I'm not paying attention to everybody else, but I have been trained from a very young age to look and save my brother. So I just, everywhere I go, I'm kind of keeping an attention on everybody else.
Well, did you see something?
Making sure.
Did you
People.
see something?
I see people.
Okay.
There's people moving around. There's people doing things, but what I can see, we're okay. I don't know anybody here either. This is all just kind of new to me. So I'm just taking it in.
Okay.
But how about we put it this way? Let's just all be on guard and make sure that we know where all our things are, and that way we can start from a basic level.
Okay, that's cool.
Okay, so depending on how much longer you want to just sit here and converse, just before dinner is served, that guy that you saw leave,
Mhm.
Jesker or Jorgen, comes back, sits down at the table, whispers something to his companion's ear. They nod together. Dinner is served.
Cool.
All right, you all eat. You get your raw vegetables, Frankwind. They are very raw and very crunchy.
Yay.
Mm,
The water
they're
remains.
fine.
Is it spring water? So hard to know, but you can drink it. Probably not the tastiest water you've ever had.
Is it spring? Is it summer? Is it fall?
It's early summer. It's about May.
Okay.
In equivalent, whatever the world of Greyhawk says May is. Hopefully they call it May. Hopefully their year is 12 months, 7-day weeks.
Doesn't matter.
And so
I'm
on and so
counting
forth.
days. It's all that
Yeah.
matters. We're on day 1.
So you have your dinner. It is actually pretty good.
Mm.
Maybe not exactly the finest meal you've ever had, but definitely better than an inn in a small village deserves to have. So, 2 stars on the Michelin rating. Not bad.
Whoa!
Not
2
bad.
Michelin stars.
Yeah, not bad.
I didn't realize they had these here.
What? Did you see what they did with those potatoes? Oh,
Kind of amazing. Yeah, they're pretty
Mind
cool. I wish they had some ketchup though.
Oh, don't ruin it. Just enjoy it. Oh,
I'm allowed to like ketchup.
I don't understand lycopene in fruit.
Mm.
Okay. Evening gets on a little bit, and somebody enters the inn. Just looks like just a regular person, but they come to your table with a purpose. And he says, excuse me, gentleman and gentle lady, but I have a request for, and he nods his head and looks directly at Poppy and Jorgen and says, but Rufus is interested in parlaying with the two of you if you have time, maybe tomorrow or the day after. I'm not sure how long you're intending to stay in town.
Who's Rufus?
He cocks his head. Rufus. Ah, you really are new. Rufus is helping to create the militia here in town. He and Byrne are working up the protection now that it appears that there might be enemies about, and we have interests to protect.
And is that what he wants to discuss with us?
I could not presume what was going through Rufus's mind, but he shrugs. You do seem like a formidable pair. Regardless, it is not for me to say. What response shall I give him?
Does he fart in front of you?
Jorgen.
I'm serious. Does he fart in front of you?
Probably.
Probably. Have you ever heard one before?
I don't eat at the table with him.
As I fart?
Well, I haven't heard that.
Okay, well, then we might have to be a little leery about this guy. Where does he want to meet? Where is this guy?
Please just come to the keep.
The keep? And who do we just ask to see Rufus?
Yes. I will. If you want to see him, please, I'll just take your names, and he will know what to expect you. Certainly, your appearance is easy to describe.
Well, Frankwind is dabbing his mouth with his kerchief and picks up his hat and places his hat on his head and turns to this gentleman and
Yeah, but
says,
that's Rufus now.
"Oh, perhaps this Rufus seeks the assistance of a wizard such as myself. I would be most interested."
Perhaps you would have something to discuss with Byrne.
Burn?
Be that as it may, I mean, Rufus has asked if these two fine people here would grant him an audience, and certainly if you are associates, then you would all be welcome to the same audience.
Yes, of course. They're here at our table, certainly. So yes, I would like for them to come with us. I would like for Rufus to grant us all an audience.
When shall I tell Rufus to expect?
I don't like to get up too early.
But tomorrow?
Gentlemen? Yes,
Certainly.
tomorrow.
7:30.
Tomorrow would be
Yes.
brilliant.
7:30.
Tomorrow after breakfast.
That's still kind of early, but sure, that'd be fine.
Okay. He inclines his head. Thank you. I shall pass the word along, and may I please take your names?
Just tell him the lady will call upon him.
He smiles. Okay. And did the rest of you offer your names? Yes or no? Or
Sure.
I-
Jesker of the Red Granite Hills.
inclines his head. Thank you.
Hatpin, elite wizard of the Guild of Alchemists and Apothecarists.
Ah,
Of
from Verbabonk.
Verbabonk.
Yes. Byrne also hails from Verbabonk.
I got it.
Perhaps you will have much to discuss.
Gotta do it. Jorgen Gleibsmith. I
Okay.
know me. My very good map maker. Very good map making family.
Excellent. Well, thank you.
Verbabonk. Well,
I shall tell Rufus and Byrne to expect you tomorrow morning at your leisure. Thank you. He inclines his head slightly and then turns around and leaves.
Be cool.
What a grotty little man.
Sometimes you have to get down in the dirt.
Not I, madam.
Well,
What?
it helps to understand the common people, you know?
I suppose.
Okay. Is there anything else you all want to do tonight, or shall we just advance to post-breakfasting tomorrow?
yes.
I have nothing to do tonight except sleep.
Nope.
All right. Time passes. The night passes. It is morning. You've had your breakfast. You all meet up again at a table, have your breakfast together at the inn of the Welcome Winch.
I have
That's
bags
why
under
I
my eyes.
to use a
Ugh.
whip.
I'm
How
sorry,
to
what was
use a
that?
whip?
That's why I might be able to use a whip. But I don't know. I've just never tried it. It's just something that I might want to try sometime. But
Well, I tried it. I've tried it before, but you know, I mean, it's something we'd have to probably practice.
I'm not really good with those kind of weapons. So, but we want to go see Rufus, or you want to go churching?
Well, we told him we would go see him, so I suppose we should.
I guess.
Wish the coffee was stronger here. The
Some
barista's
whiskey.
really slow,
You put the whiskey in the coffee. That's how you make it stronger.
I guess. Where are those other guys? We have to get
Oh.
going.
They're here.
Sorry, I assumed I came down with you since I
No,
crashed
they're-
in your fancy room.
Yes.
Poppy, they've been here the whole time.
Well,
They-
fine.
They're
I
not
just
morning people.
neither am I. Ugh.
Well, you have to wake up on your vacation to enjoy all of your vacation. So
Fine.
you gotta get used to it.
Fine. I'm here. I'm
Especially
awake.
if we're gonna find a whip, or I'm gonna find a whip. But you know,
I'm
talk to-
so with it. I'm so with it right now. I'm so
talk to Rufus,
together.
dude. We gotta talk to Rufus, dude. Or at least they want to talk. Why do they want to talk to us? Do we look that cool? Are you wearing chainmail?
Who? Me?
Yes. Are you
Yes,
wearing
of
armor?
course.
Are
I'm
you
wearing
Okay.
chainmail. Yeah.
And do you have a shield?
Yeah, I have a shield.
I'm hopeful that this Rufus and Byrne can help me to find this canoness or give information, and perhaps they would offer you the adventure you seek.
Do you think something's going on with the church?
I don't know. There are rumors of bandits, certainly.
What?
And the
Okay.
forming of this militia seems inauspicious. One doesn't
Yeah.
form a militia without something to fight against.
All right.
Okay.
Let's go check it out, guys.
So you go down the road to the east in town, and you pass. Like I said, this is a notable house. 8 foot high stone wall and a heavy gate. that you think is the residence of. I think you've gathered this is the residence of the village elder, but it's also where the whole town council meets.
Wait a second, Damon.
Mhm.
Sorry, I thought it was the other place.
Oh no, we'll get there.
The next
Is-
place. Come.
We'll get
We're
there.
going
This
on
has
the journey.
this
Oh,
one
sorry.
has an
Okay.
8-foot stone wall and is a very nice house.
Okay.
It would be the nicest house in town with the most formidable wall, if not for this one, which is also a house, but this one is built entirely of stone and looks new. This house, not new, been around for decades. This house, built in the last 2 years at most. Very
Hmm.
fresh, very new,
Nice. Thank you, Rob.
and large.
I'm
Entirely
hoping.
stone. Large stone wall, very nice.
But isn't
key-
like thicker and taller than the other one?
Yeah.
Stone wall wise? Okay, thank you.
So
Frankwind, I don't know about you, but I don't appreciate new money.
No,
Hmm.
it's no.
Yeah.
There's these blow-ins coming in from the east, isn't it? Flashing their newfound wealth.
Yeah.
But
That's
I
what it
mean,
seems like.
look at it. Look at the state of it. There's just no. There's no flair. There's no
There's no elegance.
nuance or elegance to the architecture.
I
No,
already
there isn't.
Jusker
Sorry.
closes his eyes and sighs deeply.
Here you see we'll just call it a tent city, where you figure the laborers are dwelling, and many of those laborers are hard at work building up the stone wall going around the keep here. So these are like, these are hills, 2 hills.
Okay.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
that's topography. Okay.
Yep. And so this is the keep you're heading to.
Okay.
Mhm.
It's about somewhere between 50 and 60 feet tall total. And there's like a smaller inner tower that rises after inside of a larger outer one. There is a stairway that circumvents the outside of this little tower that comes up, so it like wraps around it from the ground level up.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
goes up about 10 feet, and there's actually a gap between the stairway and the keep. There's like a 15 to 20 foot gap. So the stairway is like 50 to 20 feet away from the edge of the keep's wall. You get to the top of that, and you're at a landing. And at the landing, there's a drawbridge that
Yeah.
actually would take you into the keep, and on it is a guard.
Hmm.
You can see
Alright.
also that there are a lot of arrow slits. There are upper and lower battlements. They're maculated. There are archery merlins available. So you can see 2 men-at-arms on the roof itself, and they're watching you. And like I said, there is a guard also on the drawbridge.
Hi.
Frankwind will step forward. Today he's wearing a light purple cape and matching hat with a sparkling ruby at the center of it. So he's looking very well. And,
He has a new hat.
Yes. And he says, "I say, my good man, we are
Which will I say
here
is calling?
upon business with Rufus and Byrne.
And
They
what is
sent
this
for us.
business?
This
Please
business
tell-
is none of
please-
your business, my good man. I would like to make a
Please tell-
persuasion roll. Can I make a persuasion roll?
What are you trying to
there we go.
persuade? What are you saying?
I'm trying to persuade this this guard to lower this drawbridge and allow us in.
The drawbridge is lowered. He's standing on it.
For fuck's sake. Okay. Never mind. I
Get him to
withdraw my
raise it.
statement.
You withdraw your drawbridge statement. Got it. Okay.
Raise this drawbridge, my good man.
All right. So yeah, he says, and what is your business?
We
Our
were asked to
business?
come. We were asked to come.
By
Well, who's-
Rufus.
Who is calling?
Tell him the lady is here.
The lady and her entourage.
Yes.
Please wait here. And he turns about face, goes back inside of the tower, and you can see him like point to either side of the entry door, and you see 2 guards fill the doorway as he exits your space. And he comes back after say 5-ish minutes, and you see a very well-built man. Looks like he's in his early 40s. He's got a beard, a little bit of gray in it. Yeah, he's a big guy. And he says, welcome. Please, come in. And he leads you inside. You go inside, and there's like a stairway that's on the inside wall and kind of wraps up. He takes you up a floor, and you get to a landing, and there's 2 doors, and he takes you into a door on the left. And you enter a room. in the chamber, and he invites you to sit down. Also sitting there is another man. He's got a close cropped beard. He looks to be a few years younger, maybe, than Rufus. He's thinner. He's actually behind a desk. And he's also dressed nicely. He's got fancy clothes on, definitely nicer than what Rufus is wearing. He stands, doesn't extend his hand or anything, but he says, my name is Byrne. Pleasure to meet all of you. A little surprising. We were really only interested in the lady, is it?
Yes.
Is there some other form of address, or is this how you are called?
I think you can call me the lady.
And your compatriot's name is...
Oregon.
Yes.
Mhm.
Rufus says, yes. So, we can tell that you two are very experienced warriors, and we
Well-
have need of training the common folk of this town into an actual militia that might be able to repel bandits. There's been an increase in predation on the road between here and Nulb. There is an old moat house that was destroyed some 30 years ago in the great battle for the Temple of Elemental Evil. And now it seems it perhaps might be an outpost again for something. Almost certainly not the temple, but something is there. There are reports of people disappearing around that area. I suspect Burns like, you don't know anything. He says, just don't, you haven't gone to investigate. So how do you know? He's like, well, I can't. I'm too busy. Like, that's why we're not doing it. Farmers around have disappeared. There are some elves from the woods that we have that used to do trade with the trading post. They haven't been seen in a long time, and that's a little suspicious. They used to come every 10 or 12 days, and they're not here anymore.
And your canoness of St. Cuthbert?
Yes, also Countess Ide is gone. She wasn't going there. She said she was going to Nulb, so I'm sure she skirted the moat house. So something else may have happened to her. Anyway, could we hire you to train this militia? I think it would take about, well, with you here, I think we could do a reasonable job in about a month.
So you're telling me that people are just disappearing, and you don't know why?
Well, people are scared, and that's why we need this militia.
But you haven't tried to discover why people are disappearing.
Nobody would go. We don't have anybody here that would do that.
What if we could?
Well, possibly. We could maybe go check it out for you.
I would be most willing, especially if the Temple of Elemental Evil is rearing itself again.
Burn just like literally guffaws. He's like, no, that place was destroyed 30 years ago.
My god has sent me here, and I suspect it is for some deeper reason. Regardless, if it would be of service to you, can you tell us
Sure.
where this moat house is?
It's farther along the road here. It's like halfway between here and Nulb. If you
Well-
need to know more about the temple, talk to Jeru, talk to Jeru. He can tell you all you need to know about it. But I wouldn't worry about that. If you want to explore the moat house, by all means, you're free to do so. Not sure what to make of it exactly.
I'd like to go explore it. If we were to solve your little moat house problem,
Burn tenses his fingers. He's like, well, we would be grateful.
how much would you be willing to pay us for our problems, for our troubles, for our efforts?
Why don't you find something that's wrong first, and then we can negotiate a price later, because I don't think there's any danger there.
Sir, I was not raised to be an idiot by my nannies. Very intelligent, trained people themselves. Try again.
Well, I mean, it's up to you. If you're curious, by all means, go about it. What we need, Rufus says, what we need is for you to train our militia. That we will pay for.
If we take care of this issue for you, how much were you going to pay us for training your militia?
We would pay you quite handsomely. We'd pay you 4 copper a day.
4 copper a day. Really? That's it.
Oh, well, and that's what we have to offer.
I suspect you might have a little more.
They look at each other. Well, perhaps our parley here is done. Good day to you. And
Really?
good luck.
Sir, I don't think you'd be asking us if you had other options.
No, that's why we did ask you. We don't have other options.
That's what I thought.
We're also, as you can see, putting a massive investment into the infrastructure of this town. We're already in debt. We can't really afford more.
Really?
Maybe we're approaching this differently, Poppy. Maybe we should approach it from what we can provide. If we
What do you
would be able
mean?
to provide you with some information about the local area, so that you could be a little bit more informed, possibly about raids or the moat house. Then you might be able to hone your militia properly, and we might be able to help alleviate some problems in the area.
Hmm.
We could have a tit for tat relationship.
Francis, I mean, that would suit us just fine. That sounds lovely, as a matter of fact.
Jorgen has such a soft heart.
If-
Fine.
I've never done this before. I'm just kind of shooting it to him, but I think it sounds pretty cool.
If you're in need of supplies, we can. I tell you what we can do. If you think you might need supplies, I will meet with the village council, and I am sure you can get a line of credit at the trading post in case you need things for this exploration and information gathering.
That would be very helpful because I didn't come here with the intent of, helping to save the town. So we're not necessarily stocked for it. So yes, that would be very helpful.
I shall call a meeting tonight, and we will discuss it, and we'll send word to you're all still staying at the inn for at least one more night.
For the foreseeable future. Mm-hmm.
I will send
Indeed.
word to the inn by tomorrow. Thank you very much,
Okay.
and I hope you enjoy your stay in Hommlet. And if you find out anything, obviously report it back, please. We'd be very curious to know.
One question.
Yes?
The new building across the road down there. Who
Hmm?
dwells there?
Ah, that's our stonemason. We brought him special from Verbablanc. He's excellent.
Quite
Your
a grand-
stonemason lives
quite
in
a
that
grand
house?
house for a mason.
Yes.
Yes. Is
That's
he
why
famous?
they can only pay 4
somehow?
coppers.
Yeah, he came with he's got his own apprentices and everything. And as you can see, and he points to the tower itself, he's like, he's done a remarkable job already.
DM question, quick.
Hmm?
When we were walking up on the keep and the wall and everything like that, is
Wall's
the
unfinished. You could easily just get through it.
as in like like we walk over the top of it, but it's
Yeah, at some part of
Okay.
it you can. Like, it's not complete all the way. It doesn't go all the way around. Its height is uneven.
but the bones of it are laid out essentially.
Yeah, the
It's not
foundation
like
of it is
it's
laid out. Like, it's been.
copy.
You can see that it's been surveyed out.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Well, that's fascinating. All right, gentlemen, anything else?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Well, good day to you all. Thank you very much for any help you have to offer. I'm sure the council will agree to these terms. So, but I will let you know for sure tomorrow. I will send my servant.
Thank
Good day.
you. Thank you.
Okay, and you are escorted down the stairs and across the drawbridge, and off you go.
There we go.
Do you have other destinations or other people you wish to talk to today?
I guess I would like to meet with the replacement cannon,
Sure.
Algero. What was his name?
Turjon.
Jurjan.
Yep. So you're going to go up here to the church.
Anyone is welcome to join me if you wish, but I imagine you might
Oh, man.
have your own business.
At some point, Jorgen is going to start saying weird little things in Dwarvish to see if Jesker catches on to it.
Oh,
Just
you
to
actually
kind-
speak Dwarvish?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jesker doesn't. That's the weird thing.
Okay.
No, he doesn't.
Well, but just to see if I can catch your ear and turn your head, and that's about it.
Oh, yeah. The moment you say something, I will recognize it, since you haven't been speaking Dwarvish thus far.
Sure. Okay. Then I'm just gonna kind of I'm just gonna annoy you gently with it.
Yeah, he gives you a dwarf bro nod, though.
Okay.
Dwarf
Okay.
bro nod.
Got it. It's
Okay.
really it's a waggle of the beard, but you don't know unless you know.
Okay, come on up here. You go through the front doors. This building looks relatively new. It's newer than the inn, for example, which is well established, but not new as in like the stonemason house that we just described or the keep. You'd put it at like, 20 to 40 years old, maybe something like that. And it's nice. It's a good church. So you enter. It's not service time right now. And you see someone like kind of up at a dais who notices your entrance, and he comes down. He looks like a small, nervous little man. Says, "Oh, hello. How may I help you?"
I am Jusker Red Granite. I am chosen of Moradin. I am seeking the new canon of St. Cuthbert.
Oh, Turjon. Yes. Well, he's doing prayers right now. He looks a little uncomfortable when he says this. He's like, "But I'm sure you could schedule an audience with him if you would be willing to make a small donation to the church. As you know, we are helping the families who've lost people to whatever, these people who've gone missing and which we assume maybe is from the bandits or things like that. But like we're raising funds to aid them.
I'm happy to wait until he is done with his devotions.
I see. He continues to look even more uncomfortable. He's like, yes.
Through signs, Morden has told me that it is of the greatest interest to Saint Cuthbert that I speak with him as soon as possible.
Oh, of course.
I guess I'm going to go for persuasion with that.
Okay, why don't you make a roll?
Okay, so I've got a +2, but it's one of my proficiencies, so that makes it a +4. Is that correct?
Yep, if that's how you... Yep,
I want to make sure I'm getting die rolling right.
You add your proficiency modifier to it.
Which is 2. Okay.
Correct.
So that is a 15.
Oh, that's quite good. Okay. It looks like you nearly bend his will to yours, but he resists.
Is there a donation box lying around?
Yes. Yes.
No,
Yes.
I mean, I glance around to see. I'm not asking this fool.
Oh, indeed. Yeah, in fact, it looks like it's kind of new. And it was right when you came in. Very prominent.
And of course, the treasure of the dwarves is always willing to support St. Cuthbert. I drop in. I palm. You can't see what kind of coins I'm putting in, but I drop a few coppers in.
Okay. Well, let me go and see when Canon Turgeon might be finished with his devotions and when he might be willing to receive you. Please, would you please have a seat? And he hustles off.
I just stare back at him.
Is the building made of stone?
Stone and wood.
Okay, so and large cathedral-esque room.
Yeah, it's kind of shaped like an H. So like you entered on one long side of the H, and then there's a narrow, like the narrow part, and then it goes to a wide H again.
Okay. Jorgen's gonna whistle and try and see if he can just kind of like play with the acoustics gently.
Sure, you enjoy that.
Okay. Good, thank you.
Several minutes later, the nervous young man says, yes, Turgeon will see you now if you have the time.
Of course.
Are all of you coming, or just you, good sir?
My friends are free to do as they please. Do you want to accompany me?
I would love to meet this person.
Yes.
Okay. You're led up the little hallway, and then you go off to the side into essentially a vestry or something. And sitting down is average-sized man, average looks, human. If anything, he looks maybe a little pampered. He's not a hard man. He's not like Rufus was, for example. That was that was a guy who was clearly some kind of warrior or did something outdoorsy or physical labor. This guy doesn't do physical labor. And he says, who do I have the pleasure of meeting here?
I am Jesker of the Red Granite Hills, chosen of Moradin. Moradin has found St. Cuthbert. It's St. Cuthbert, right?
St. Cuthbert of the Cudgel.
St. Cuthbert to be a great friend of the Dwarvish people, and has sent me signs that we should seek your canoness, who I understand has gone absent.
Oh, yes.
And I invite my companions to introduce themselves as well, if they want.
You may call me the lady.
Brungwind Handpin.
This is my servant, Jorgen.
Okay.
He's been demoted to servant now. Excellent.
Well, it is a pleasure to meet all of you, I am sure.
What do you know about the disappearance of the canoness?
Yeah. It's all overblown. She's merely gone to spread the word of St. Cuthbert to Nulb and environs beyond. 'Tis of no concern to anyone.
God, it sounds like he's a lying sack of shit. Can I try a perception roll, an active one?
Insight.
Oh, it'd be insight, even better, because I'm proficient in that. And wisdom is my good thing.
Yep, do it.
For a grand total of 8. And that took a lot
8.
of modifiers to get there.
Yeah, he's absolutely telling the truth as far as you're concerned.
Why has rumor so twisted the story then to suggest that she has disappeared unexpectedly?
Well, the unfortunate thing about this is that other people have been disappearing for reasons that nobody seems to understand. No, well, she's doing a mission for the church. Let's just put it that way.
She's on a mission for God.
That's right.
Forget.
And the less anybody else knows, the better. It's for their own good.
Jesker turns to the rest of you and raises an eyebrow, inviting you if you have any follow-ups.
Would you care to elaborate, perhaps? On...
No, I cannot. Sorry.
But surely to such fine individuals as ourselves.
Well, you are very fine, but I don't actually know you, and I don't actually know what your motivations are. You are certainly welcome to Hommlet, of course.
What are your motivations?
I am here to run the church in Canonicy Day's absence. Until she returns.
He's here to kick ass and burn incense. He's all out of incense.
What does the Church of Cuthbert do in the city?
What's he do in the city? Like, what you know is that this is easily the most popular religion in Vermabonk and these areas. It's like the religion of the Duke, and so on. So what it does is like everything a church would do. Like there are festivals, serve the poor,
Dang.
that kind of stuff.
Okay. I don't have religion as a skill, so I guess would that mean I wouldn't necessarily know like the religious structure, i.e., there's a church here which is a part of a basilica or part of.
No, this isn't like a
greater
Catholic
structure.
structure. This is just
Sure.
just a church.
Okay. But like Saint Cuthbert more seen of as a religion?
He's like an active patron god.
Okay. Would I know if he's known for like clerics and paladins and stuff like that, or just a religion?
Oh, you would know that.
Okay. I guess I just don't know if there's like a larger military organization around the church, or if it's just like, that's what they, just portray.
All of you will know this. It's rumored that St. Cuthbert was once just a guy. But he ascended to godhood based on his battles against evil. Like, he's, like, incredibly lawful, big on the whole order thing. He's very combative. Like, he's kind of a war hero god. Most of St. Cuthbert's religious locations are, like, shrines or maybe crude chapels. But Vermabonk has, like, a cathedral. And you would qualify what's happening here in Hommlet as a small temple, which is unusual for a village the size of Hommlet. Normally, you would expect nothing more than like a chapel, but this is a temple, and it's more than Hommlet would normally need, if that makes sense.
They spent a lot of money.
They spent a lot of money here.
Copy. Okay, and I guess that was like okay. So they good doors, good like cathedral, big building, large enough for things. Okay.
Yeah,
cool. Got it.
This is on the small side for a cathedral, but it is a cathedral. It's
which is still a significant building.
It's too big for this village. Clearly,
it's too big for this village. Yeah, it really is. It honestly is.
Okay.
Why? Yeah, it doesn't really make sense for Hommlet to have one this nice.
Yeah, but is it buttressed? Sorry. The minutia is getting a little too far. All right, I'm done.
And I'll say to change the subject, we've heard other rumors that the disappearances of farmers and others may somehow be connected to this old moat house. Do you know anything of this?
Well, it was once an outpost of the Temple of Elemental Levi. That's the big history of this area, right? Hommlet was where the armies mustered to go and sack that place, and sack it they did. Destroy it, laid it low, utterly. And the moat house was left in ruins, left uninhabitable.
How many years ago?
About 30 years ago.
I think that is all of our business here. Unless anyone else has anything to ask. Thank you for your time, good canon.
Of course. Always feel free to leave a donation. We can use all the money we can get to help these poor souls.
Nod politely.
This seems like a good spot
That's a good
to
point,
stop.
sir, yeah.
To the moat house.
To the moat house.
I would agree.
Let's get drunk first.